Welcome everyone to this edition of Football 101. I'm your host Joshua De Matos, and we have a great program in store for you. For the next half an hour, we're going to be talking Premier League football. Now, talk of the town, Antonio Conte may be out of the job by the time you're watching this show. Other matches we're going to talk about is with Manchester City. We all know they dropped points. Manchester United got off to winning ways with their new signing Alexis Sanchez, as well as a sitting Arsenal with their new look side. So all this and more we're going to be talking about for the next half an hour right on the other side of this break. It's Football 101 where we bring the field directly to your home. Welcome back to Football 101. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be talking Premier League football. And I'm not alone on this set. I have sports executive extraordinaire, Nana Wilson.
Thanks for having me again, Joshua. Always a pleasure to be here, dealing with Football 101. And we're going to have some good topics to talk about today.
Yes. And condolences on your favorite player from Real Madrid being subbed off. It's a rare sight to see him.
It really is. But, we'll keep it on Premier League football for today, so I wouldn't go down that road.
Yes. So as mentioned before, we're going to be talking about Chelsea and Antonio Conte's future. Now, a Chelsea team that came up this weekend with a 4-1 defeat.
Yeah.
Not something that the Chelsea faithful will be accustomed to, especially against a certain team like Watford. They too get having their new manager as well, so it's a really good start for Watford. But some difficult times at the bridge.
Yeah, Chelsea's one of those teams that high-spending team, they're really not one of the teams that's going to be in the lower tier of the league, but they do usually have internal crisis. When they have big personalities to take care of, they have a very forceful owner, and, the coach at the moment isn't, seems to have a lot of off-the-field issues going on, and they're saying that this may be the moment, this may be the turning point for Chelsea and his career there.
Well, as you mentioned, Antonio Conte, so we're going to go to the first clip of the show where we're going to show Antonio Conte's post-match comments after the game.
It's very difficult for me to transfer my thought, no? And I hope that tonight, for once, you understand me. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about my job. I work every day and I give 120%, okay? If this is enough, it's okay. Otherwise, the club can take a different decision, but I'm not worried. But it's very difficult because every day, every press conference you ask me, are you worried about your job? No, I'm not worried. Tomorrow is another day. I can be the Chelsea coach or not, which is the problem. My soul, is clear, and I repeat, I go to sleep without the problem that maybe I could do this. I try to do everything. If this is enough, it's okay. Otherwise, the club to take another decision. But I think that the problem is for you, not is for me or for the club. Then, if this problem become of the club, it's okay. And the life go forward. Yeah, go forward.
Now, for somebody who's saying, I'm not worried, he sounds really worried. You could see the emotion in his face because coming up with the media week in and week out, you know how the media could be pressing him, pushing his buttons, and to me, you saw a lot of emotion in that press
Yeah,
conference.
there's a lot of emotion, and there's also the fact that you understand that English isn't his first language, and he's not being able to translate exactly what he wants to say. You know, so he's being a little diplomatic, but with limited vocabulary. And I think that is also something that is probably filtering onto the field. You know, maybe the players not getting to believe into what he's saying because he's having difficulties transmitting that energy onto them. You know, it's a lot of mismanagement from a manager's perspective. And, you know, Chelsea in the past, you know, their owner, if he doesn't like it that way, they are not afraid to cut anyone and then put in an interim manager for a time being, you know, for big games. And things could still work out in their favor and make a big signing in the summer. But I think his time there, it's very limited. You know, even if he does last until the end of the season, they're going to probably make a drastic change to the end of it.
Yeah, and it's funny though because we saw this probably start off when the whole Costa situation.
Correct.
You know, with him sending a text message saying he was out of favor with the team. But to me, when I saw that, I thought they got over that hurdle. You know, Morata came in and the season started, but as it reaches to this point now, it looks as though, to me, it reminds me of a certain coach called Jose Mourinho 2 years ago.
Correct.
Where the team just wasn't playing for him. So do you think, is it that fact that the team is doing another thing just like that with Jose, or is it that he's just...
You see, the problem with the Costa situation is that it went out of... It was parties that not necessarily had to put their hands in it. Right. And, you know, you have a coach that basically texts a player, you know, that is... It sends a message to the other players because what they forget is that these players are in numbers and they talk. Regardless of what, they become friends, they send each other messages. So once it happens to one player who was technically the man on the team, then everybody else is more or less, you know, careful where their position lies. They don't have that confidence. And if they're not playing, you know, if they're not getting that support from the coach, by all means, the players will take drastic steps and ensure that somebody else is brought, you know.
What was strange for me, though, when I watched this game against Watford, Antonio Conte, you see him on the sidelines. Very, you know, charismatic, quarreling, raising his voice. And in this game, for me, first time I just saw him just watch like a spectator watching the game. Now, to me, that's a sign there that it's either one to me, everyone has their days. So I'm pretty sure we could give him at least one day.
Correct.
But then others are saying, you know, that's not the Conte they know, and it's possible that he just has lost faith in his team.
And it could also be that his team has lost faith in him because if he's not challenging or sending out the messages, it's because he could also think that they're not really going to respond. You can't, you know, if someone is playing dead and you continue kicking at them and they don't move, you know, you're going to stop. And I think he's just realizing that no matter what he does, he's not going to get the response from them. And, you know, it's reached a point where he's just an observer and just has to wait the time out until the club makes a decision.
So we went ahead and we asked you, the fans, to let us know what do you think should be the future for Conte. So we're going to go to another clip where some of you give your answers as it pertains to that.
We need to blame everybody who know me. I Shaquille, diehard Chelsea fan, also known as the Machine Gun King. A trending topic is going on right now. Everybody asking what I think about Antonio Conte and his performance with the club. Well, honestly to say, I know things are looking too good. 203 right now. We're losing at that game that we're not really supposed to be losing, and we're losing the team that we are not supposed to be losing to. But what I am saying, the future looking a little shaky for Antonio Conte. He needs to start to do a little improvement. But right now, as I say, I can't really blame the coach alone, is the players, and then because after every game, after we lose, all the players come out and say we need to regroup, we need to play better, we have to play together as a togetherness and something. Saying something and doing is two different things. So what I am clearly saying, all the blame can't be Antonio Conte. All we have to do is hope for the best. The Premier League outside, all we have to hope to do now is to win the FA Cup, the Champions League, and hope the best. Chelsea to the world. I out.
Try to squeeze this in as quick as possible. Question was raised with Conte, between Conte and the board, was my opinion. My opinion is, I stand by Conte. Problem to me is the board, and by extension, the owner, Roman, because Conte wants certain things, the board not giving him certain things, and people coming on Conte. But you gotta look at he not getting certain things because of the board. and then by extension, Roman have his vision as what he want to do with stadium and his finances and them kind of thing. The board cannot do certain things without Roman. So people might have to look more at the owner than really the board. But probably the board getting pressure from the owner, and the board is restricted to do certain things because of the owner. And it all trickle down to Conte. Now, I've seen what Conte has done with Juve and Italy, and even if you look at the last Euros, what he did with Italy and that squad, which was not really a good squad, and they still perform. The people need to stick behind Conte, because the man really trying hard to work with what he have and what he is given. So yeah, that is basically it. To me, board, Roman, them is problems.
So yeah, the Chelsea fans giving some good points there. So you, Narada, do you think that Chelsea should take the bite and sack the manager right now? We've seen them before. They've put in other managers just to caretake. Worked out. They won the Champions League with some of them. Or do you think that they should at least hold out with Conte, seeing that we have so much big games coming up in the month of February for Chelsea?
Yeah. From a management perspective, obviously, the coach that you already have a contract with, it's probably easier to have him live through his contract. The unfortunate thing is that you have more players than coaches. Right. So if your players aren't respecting the coaching, what we have to find out is the root of the cause of the problem. Is it that the players don't believe in the coach, or the coach isn't given enough because he doesn't think he has the support? If it is that the players don't believe in the coach, you have to change the coach, because the reality is that trust and that respect is not going to come back overnight. It's going to take a longer period of time, and football is based on results, and you can't have 5 bad results in a row and expect that things will get better any sooner or later.
Because they have Barcelona coming up in the Champions League very soon. And one thing I've seen, like as it pertains to on a United's perspective, when Van Gaal and David Moyes were in control, once they were in that top 4 tier, even though they were losing, they still kept them. But once you hit that 5th, 6th position, that is when they just sacked them.
And, the reality is, I think Manchester's perspective at that time, because of the years that they've stuck with one coach, they would have been a little more tolerant of certain things. Chelsea's owner, or in the more modern Chelsea, it's not that tolerant. They will change coaches every year if they have to, every 2 years. So I don't think they would want to sit back and watch them fall into 5th, 6th, hold steady still, because Chelsea's this year they want it to be a 1-2-3 team. So they're going to make any change that is necessary to stay up there.
So right now, Chelsea are currently in 4th position, 1 point behind Liverpool and 1 point ahead of Spurs. So time will tell if Antonio Conte will keep his job at the helm of Chelsea FC. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back after the break, we're going to be talking about the Liverpool versus Spurs clash, as well as Manchester City dropping points this weekend. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. So we're going to talk Spurs versus Liverpool. For those of you who don't know, this game finished 2 goals apiece. It was Salah versus Harry Kane, the top 2 goal scorers in the Premier League, going head-to-head. So we have a short clip we want to show you that basically sums up the entire 90 minutes of this game.
It's 1-1 with minutes to go. I am clean through, I cannot miss. Leave this to me. Somehow I made it through. Leave this to me. Oops, 100 goals. Thank you, John Moss. Oh, speed. Let's get lucky. What quick feet. Oh, getting beat. Unfair meat. I was sad and blue. But you made me feel. Yes, you made me feel. Shiny and new. Spirit of sacrificial glass. Thank you for that. For kicking him in injury time. Thank you for that. Feel my heart beat. You won't save it this time. Can Harry Kane redeem himself? The star striker takes a deep breath. Can the best striker of his generation get his 100th goal? He begins his legendary penalty run up. Yes, thank you for yes, for kicking him in injury time. Lamella didn't have it all. Thank you for feel my heart beat. Oh, the things I'm going to do to you, Jonathan.
Oh, no, not again.
Oh, why can't we close games out? Oh.
And that's so true. Why can't they close games out?
Yeah.
Finished to a piece now in injury time. A lot of controversy in this game with penalty calls that Klopp certainly didn't agree with. But a game for the neutral that neutral would love.
Yeah, you know, two very attacking teams, playing very good football. You know, you had Spurs, Liverpool with something like 66%, you know, possession. It really was an entertaining game. And then, you know, having the Mo Salah scoring both goals and then having Harry Kane get his 100th goal. Really entertainment for two teams that, you know, for their history is much, you know, bigger than anything we could explain. And the fans, you know, they would have loved it. But I think the controversy, it tainted it a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, just really, that is football, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, there were some calls that I think the coach would be disappointed with. But they live to fight another day, and they're still fighting. They all have about 5 points between all of them. So it's going to be challenging coming down to the end.
Yeah. So as mentioned before, Klopp does have some problems. So let's hear from the man himself what he thinks at the end of this game.
I am, but obviously I cannot change. So what's my job now? To create headlines, to get punished, to pay a fine, or what? But if I would say what I think, I would pay the biggest fine in world football. So, but that makes absolutely no sense. So we made a lot of mistakes today and have no problem with making mistakes, but it should not be kind of on purpose. You want to make the decision. If you don't see it, then step aside. So I thought in the situation with the first penalty, they were discussing, and I saw the linesman only doing this. I have no idea. I don't know. That's what I saw, body language. No, I didn't see it when John Moss asked him. So at the end, well, okay, and I learned something new. Now people will say I have no idea about football because I thought it's no offside. It's offside. Yeah, no problem. But the second one, how is that? It's not about who is where. In the 93rd minute, you whistle a penalty when you are 100% sure. There were no incidents in the box when, apart from the Ali situation, when it was obviously, and it is clear in a situation like that the opposite side wants to go down, wants to cause these kind of problems. Then cool down, but how is that? We have to accept it. I cannot change it. It's really hard to get, really.
What's funny about that, in the game when that call actually happened, you saw the referee go to the assistant referee. And for some strange reason, with that clip, you were actually hearing the audio of the referees. And you could hear the main referee, the assistant referee actually saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the referee asking the fourth official, do you have anything on the television?
Yeah.
Now, Klopp saying it shouldn't be a penalty, but I'm pretty sure if it was the other way around, he would definitely be saying it was a penalty.
Especially with uncertainty, you know, there's always going to be one person that thinks, if you don't know, then you give the more drastic. If you don't know, then you should be lenient.
Yeah.
But it was a high-intensity game. I think even the referee did not want to make that call without knowing. So he went to his assistants, but then they didn't see it either. And, nobody wants that responsibility.
Yeah.
But then the main referee, he has to make the call.
Yeah.
Is a draw better than, a loss to somebody? Maybe in the end, if we look at it, we may say, you know what, he made the right call. But one party had to, suffer in the end. But I think in the end, with both sharing points, then you're quite fine, It's better than having a wrong call and then the other team saying that he clearly made a mistake.
Yeah. And shout out to Harry Kane and Mohamed Salah as well. Salah becoming the first Liverpool player to reach the 20 goals the fastest. And we all know Harry Kane as well with his 100 goal as a Spurs player. So well done to them. We're going to touch on another team that Spurs may not like, Arsenal.
Yeah.
We saw this game. It was the debut of Aubameyang, the debut of the connection between him and Mkhitaryan.
Correct.
And it clearly worked out. 5 goals to 1 against a team called Everton that has some former Arsenal players in the back of the World Cup.
Correct. It was a debut for a lot of these guys. It's Arsene Wenger getting finally maybe some money to splurge, getting some new guys in. First game, tempers are high. A lot of anxiety. Somehow Everton did not look comfortable whatsoever. But I wouldn't say that it was only that they had a bad game. I really think that Arsenal was just excited. And Febuary, the type of player that he is, he's always running. And, I heard the comments of the coach after saying, it was just very fluid and he enjoyed seeing him play. I think it's almost like a Theo Walcott in the earlies, he was that player that would run off the ball, not necessarily all the time with it, but he was just given so much depth. And he's just a very smart player, very quick. And I think it's just the game that Arsenal needs because you have Ozil, very crafty player. These guys want guys that move around the ball wide and in the center. And I think it just, everything clicked. And, you had Ramsey getting his hat-trick, which, a quality player who everything just aligned on that particular day. What we have to hope to see is that if it continues and if it's not just the star debut, and then that's it.
Because consistency goes back to that. Because last week we were here talking about how they got defeated.
Correct.
3-1 against Swansea. So now they have a win under their belt, but it's if this could be throughout. But do you think it's safe to say that, okay, we can now see Arsenal maybe being as a force to be reckoned with?
I think in comparison to you having the likes of Manchester that went out and their attacking line is very strong. You have Tottenham flowing. You have Liverpool doing the same. I think with Chelsea's small problems going on right now, there is an opportunity for Arsenal to leapfrog or at least put in the challenge to stay in the top 3 or 4. It really does open it up for them because they have that 4 or 5 attacking, quick, young players that really could put some, make the Premier League entertaining for that team right now.
Yeah, true. So well on to Arsenal, 5-1 winners over Everton. We're going to take a short break, and at the end of the show, we're going to touch on Manchester City's stumble this past weekend. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So as I mentioned before, Manchester City dropped some points this weekend. They played Burnley, who was a tough nut to crack, finished 1 apiece, and Pep was not too pleased at the end of this game. So before we get into the talk, let's hear what Pep Guardiola had to say at the end of this game.
Yeah, but sometimes we play and we're here, we win 0-1, it would say, oh, how good is Manchester City because we won 0-1. So you see then after 95 minutes the results, 1-1, okay. And we analyze what happened in 90 minutes. So I could not when I traveled by bus this morning to here, I didn't expect that Barley is going to make 1 or 2 shots on target. But believe me, I didn't expect more. And it was not too much. So that's why I give credit the way we defend, because it's not easy. When the long balls, the balls you cannot press, they put in the channel, throw-ins, free kicks, and the corners. They are masters of that. They are so good. They won 80% of the big teams, the 6 first teams in the but how we control that was top. In the way after with the ball, the build-up, the play inside, outside, and how many times we attack the back four for the opponent for the right moment to take a decision. It's my feeling. We were able to score the first 30 minutes, the second half, the second goal, even in the first half. The game would have been for our side because the game was there. I didn't have the feeling today we were not good. I don't have the feeling today the play were working in the last month. So no, I don't have the feeling. But of course, we didn't win. We are sad. And of course, if you judge about the result, of course, be complaining on Barley because what they do really, really well. The way we do, it's top. They do it really well.
So accustomed seeing City win games by 3-4-0 margins. When we see a 1-1 draw, we're like, wow, something's wrong in the camp with City. But one thing I wanted to raise, I'm not sure if you know, Pep actually only had 6 subs on the bench for this game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying they don't know the reason for it. It could be, a true that they didn't get the Mahrez deal, or it could be, we've seen all the harsh tackles against the De Bruyne's, the Sané's out injured. So what's your take on it? Do you think that that's just a way he's trying to get back?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, the game isn't too bad of a result for them, especially with the gap that they have ahead of the other competition. You now come in first game more or less after the transfer window is closed, so you're now reading all the teams.
Yeah.
So, everybody, the teams that did spent well, they're probably going to have great debuts. But he is so far in front that I think he could have just used it as an opportunity just to read some of the teams. Burnley is a team that is 7th at the moment, so it's a top team, and getting a point from them is quite good. It means that all he has to do now is continue beating all the teams that are much lower than they are. But he does have to be careful. He has to manage. He has a lot of games ahead, and they probably are on stream to win the league, I think the deal he would have wanted, yes, it falling through, could play a small part. He may be a little disappointed, but I think he's also been the type of person that not every year he has brought in the top, the biggest player, because he's worked well, from his time with Barca, Bayern, having good players, and he continues 2-3 years with the same core of players. And I think Pep is experienced enough to know how to manage it. And I think it was more of an observation, and we are taking the result too literal, but it's not going to challenge too much on their program.
Yeah, I really don't think so. I mean, they're over 10 points clear at the top of the table. Granted, Manchester United did win their game, so the gap was cut at, I believe, about 13 points. But at the same point in time, it looks as though Manchester City have this in their hand. So Narada, I want to thank you so much for
always a pleasure being here.
Yes. We have some big games coming up this weekend. We have the London Derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham Hotspur. So that's one to look forward to. So don't forget, you can check out the repeats every Wednesday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on ACT and The Voice. And we're back here next week, Tuesday, with another live episode. I'm your host, Joshua de Matos, and this is Football 101, where we bring the field directly to your home.